The Mysteries, a mysterious book of strange mystery.
The
Um,
mysterious mystery of the Jersey Shore.
and of the Druids, of course. Don't forget them. Nobody knows who they were or what they were doing. Why
But
not?
anyway, this is the new Bill Watterson. It's Bill Watterson and John
Yeah, his big Calvin and
Kascht.
Hobbes return. I love Calvin and Hobbes so much, and I loved seeing Calvin and Hobbes in this book. It's
I
very
love seeing the Calvin and Hobbes Easter eggs throughout this entire book are incredible.
yeah, all the little references to Calvin and Hobbes on every single page.
In fact, they're so subtle. It's so brilliantly done, and they're so subtle. I bet somebody who wasn't a real fan wouldn't be able to catch them.
A fake fan, yeah, that's how you could spot the fake fans. Is that they're like, there are no Calvin and Hobbes references. You're wrong, wrong,
Wrong.
wrong. But anyways, no, this is it was Bill Watterson over the course of years and John Kascht. Kascht.
It's like Kurt Schlichten.
John Hella Kascht. Gary Herndon. Yeah, but no, they were working together, basically making kind of just an experiment book. I think just for fun in a way, being not even working on a book necessarily, but working on a series of images.
I'm not sure if these are like claymation or something, or if
There
these are
seems to be a lot
actual.
of mix, a lot of mix of like there's like oil paintings, water paintings,
Well, yeah. Here's there
sauce
are some
paint. They use
paintings in like the
tomato sauce or
background
something.
here,
I don't know.
but it's like, are these like figures or something?
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of mixes of things to create a sort of creepy, and again, not cartoonish in any way. Bill Watterson clearly wanting to do a big departure from the old
Well,
cartooning stuff.
cartoonish. It's the guy is described as a caricaturist.
Yeah, and that
Or
fits. That certainly fits with
yeah,
the style of a lot of things in the book. It's
yeah.
possible he
That's what
did those
these look like.
figures. They sort of look clay based, but it's a very short book too. It's about what 50 pages, and it's like a children's book in a way too, where each page is an image and then basically one sentence that's usually as short as possible, and that's not easy to do. A lot of people assume that's easy, but it's actually not easy. It's kind of
Yeah.
challenging to make a
If there's
sentence
one
as
person
short as
we
humanly
reviewed,
possible.
I think we reviewed Metal Spoonie or Razor Fist's book or
I'm not
something.
sure we did. No, I don't think we've gone over the reviews of his, or did we? I don't.
I remember doing
We did
that.
I think we did a video on our Subscribe Star that has yet to go up. I don't think it will even go up until next year, actually, because of the schedule. If we got more money on our wonderful Subscribe Star, we would up the schedule from every 5 days to every 3 days, a new video, and then it would go up sooner. But
I'd rather people buy my comics than buy a
a,
Subscribe Star
yeah, a YouTube video. Yeah,
account or whatever the hell.
yeah, absolutely. And
That is just supposed to be a method of us being able to get the word out for ourselves and try and pull in
but
some
also
money so
to
we can
talk
buy
about things
comics.
that interest us too. And in a way, that's the opposite of the mysteries, because the
It's nice
mysteries
to be
is
able to
more of
talk
a
about
book about being. It's a book about being vague, intentionally, for all sorts of reasons I don't think I even want to speculate about. But I could pretend to speculate. I could say they want to be
about
vague
like
just to
just
keep people thrown off.
the strength of trying to keep things as succinct as possible. First off, that's something I really appreciate in movies nowadays. If a movie is over 90 minutes, I immediately have to deduct a point from it.
Oh yeah, I watched Eastern Promises a couple days ago, and that's a David Cronenberg film, one of his ones from the mid 2000s. Very good movie, not Cronenbergian in the way you would expect, not like Videodrome or Existence. Existence, wonderful movie, but Eastern Promises, really good movie. It does have like freakish violence, of course, because it is Cronenberg. Wonderful, but it has a good story. It has an interesting twist on it, and more importantly, less than 2 hours. That was a big. So I was like, oh, this is only an
Yeah.
hour and 40 minutes. Okay, I am on board, even if this
What a
movie
relief.
sucks.
In fact, that to me is perfect artistry. You get major points if you can tell like a really great complicated story with a whole bunch of events and action and characters, and it ends at exactly the 90-minute moment. Like
Yeah.
90 minutes, 0
It's
seconds.
very doable too, of course. Here's one thing about the mysteries: is it's not telling a complicated story or necessarily it's not telling a detailed story about people.
And people who are expecting this to be Calvin and Hobbes are probably going to be really confused because it absolutely
But
isn't.
here's the thing: I knew it was like it's called the mysteries and it looks creepy. It's like, okay, this is gonna I just knew right up front before the book was out. It's like, this is gonna just be as far from Calvin and Hobbes as possible. And I think that was at least a factor for Bill Watterson, is he wanted to do something that's like as anti-Calvin and Hobbes, but that's not the sole reason. That's probably not even the biggest reason that Watterson was involved with this or doing this book. In a way, there is a bit of like, as far as what the story is about, it's sort of a vague and very overall cultural analysis, critique kind of thing, a bit environmentalist in a way that Calvin and Hobbes sometimes was.
I have to admit a little bit of dread when I was expecting this. It's going to turn into a whole parable about global warming, and then
Yeah,
it just ends. It's like,
was this going to be? But actually, I thought it had a more interesting sort of a viewpoint. It wasn't overtly saying global warming. In fact, if it was saying anything, it was seeming to say that the way that we just pick apart and analyze, like we're doing with this book, the way that people, that in a way the human race wants to understand everything, kind of leads to its all downfall, but in a way, as the book ends, shows that even that isn't very important or relevant to the universe itself at large. The book ends, not to spoil, but the book ends with, well, you know what? I
not
won't
to
spoil this
spoil,
at
but we're
all.
going to spoil it anyway.
But here's the
For
thing:
now.
if you want to read this book for yourself, it's on Amazon. There's not going to be any shortage of copies, I don't think, but it's also a huge seller. But the book ends by saying the mysteries lived happily ever after, in a sort of, ironic twist. Watterson and Helen Kascht, supposed to be irony bros here, perhaps? Oh, yes, they are. Called it. They're got them. Gullibility of the New York Police Department. But yeah, it goes on where at the beginning it's like there are mysteries and they don't tell what the mysteries are, but people are afraid of the mysteries, and then they capture the. Here's full on spoilers, by the way. So stop watching.
Yeah, fucking 3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Watching and go.
Rules in a knife fight? No rules. All right, someone say 3,
No
2, 1,
rule.
go. But they capture a mystery, and it shows just a box with chains on it, and it's like, now that people captured the mystery, they realize, well, it's not all that mysterious. It's not all that strange, and then it's actually very funny. It gets to this, it's this funny section around the middle where it's like people are bored. It's like newspaper that just say yawn and boring, because the mysteries are being revealed. And it is, in a way, the way it's kept vague helps basically sell that it's about the concept of mysteries. It's the concept of discovery. So, in a way, that's what the book is telling this story about, is that once people have a greater understanding of how the world works and how everything works, they become sort of disillusioned and unimpressed with everything, and then sort of cuts to like modern New York City with people, the old fucking medieval villagers are driving cars and drinking Slurpees and stuff, and just unimpressed with everything. And then
That was legitimately funny.
yeah, and again, so there is an element of satire to it that I wasn't expecting, and then in a way, because of this, the Earth and not the Earth, but civilization itself sort of bores itself to death. It's not stated outright, but civilization basically like starts imploding and collapsing in a way that's not even directly shown. It just, everything sort of gradually goes away, and the book ends by saying, and then the galaxy kept on spinning. The end. That's basically it. I just spoiled the whole
book. As
book.
far as it seems to be concerned, like nothing actually happens.
Yeah, in a
Nothing
way,
actually
that is
happened.
also the
For all we
point.
know, humanity just went on living too.
And also, there's
Although
yeah,
it's saying like the fucking
it's
Earth
possible that
is warming up.
civilization collapsed, but people lived and it didn't matter, or maybe the entire human race died out, or maybe they didn't. It's sort of like, even a way, that itself is the mystery. Is so what happened to them? Well, it's a mystery. So it's sort of like double inverted ironic kind of shit. Based or cringe or bringe or Christ, perhaps. I don't know, but I think that sums up everything. I don't know how much I would recommend this, especially for the price
Yeah,
point.
I'll say this right up front. I prefer Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah,
I'm
certainly,
sure,
but this is more
sure
of a
no one wants to
curiosity.
hear that.
It's a curiosity, and I wouldn't even recommend this for Calvin and Hobbes fans. But if you're a completionist, yeah, of course you have to get it. You have to be like, well, I have to get everything by Bill Watterson, especially when he barely puts anything out. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
this is the
say
first
that's
thing he's done since what, 1993?
my overall score is question mark out of 10. So I don't know. Is that wraps it up in a way? Because there's in a way not supposed to be a lot to say about it. I think that's by intention.
Yeah.
And it was just a little throwaway experiment, but it's how other people made it a big deal in a way is the actual big deal about it. Bill Watterson didn't go around campaigning and doing interviews and promotional shit. They're just like, here, this book's coming out. And people are like, a new book by Bill Watterson. That's where the fucking actual promotion came from. So yeah, I would say check it out if you are curious. If you're really, really curious. If you feel like you don't need to read this book, I would say don't, maybe. But because yeah, it's so short and so little technically happens in it that I can't, say rush out and get this book. But I do say it is an interesting book for the reasons that we've gone over.
It's worth a look, but it depends on how much you pay for it, I would say.
Yeah, and I think I did pay. We paid like what, $10, and it was like that's in a way a lot, but then again, children like there
In a
are
way,
books
it's
for
a lot,
little
but at the
infants
same
that are
time, yeah,
$15.
this is somebody who's who could afford to get away with charging 25 or 30 or 40 just based on reputation. So $10 is really good.
That's good. So like, share, unshare, reshare, comment, don't subscribe, unsubscribe, don't hit the bell for don't notifications. Become PayPig on our Subscribe Star, though. You could check out our stuff. We do more reviews of all sorts of wonderful things. Internet, dumb or moronic gay internet drama. It's wonderful. You can check that out on our Subscribe Star. I don't know. There's all sorts of other things that you can check us out on. I mean, there's all the other videos on our channel. Isn't that what's important when you get down to it?
And especially when we're doing this right now, there's a risk of was it Rumble and fucking Odyssey?
No, Odyssey. Supposedly Odyssey is at risk of being bought out by some other company, or something's going on with the Libri token or some shit like that. I don't really know what or why come or
But
how
it
come.
might mean
Why
that
come
we'll
they
have to
ain't
find
got a
another
tattoo?
completely different website in order to host all of our videos.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that if you're wondering what kind of videos we do the kind of videos that get us in trouble on YouTube. For real. Not the people who pretend they get in trouble on YouTube but are fully monetized. We can't be monetized on YouTube. That's the kind of channel that we have. So that right there should tell you that we are definitely worth supporting and becoming pay pigs of. So yeah, check us out on various things. Thanks for watching our review of this comic too. I always was I was a giant mega fan of Calvin and Hobbes when I was a teenager too. It was almost like too late.
Yeah,
or too early to be a fan.
We were on board for like the last year of its existence.
Yeah. Like, I started framing, it's kind of embarrassing, but this was, 25 years ago. I started framing some of the... In fact, I did frame the final one that I got from a newspaper. I was like, wow, man, Calvin and Hobbes ended. And
That one's a good one to frame, though.
yeah.
the final Calvin and Hobbes.
Although it's just this close of being sappy and saccharine, but I think Watterson had an understanding of when it was just getting a little too much. He was like, I'm not gonna fucking. It's not gonna be Calvin and Hobbes crying while Calvin pisses on the World Trade Center while it's
The
on
World
fire or
Trade
whatever the
Center,
fuck.
crying over the World Trade Center while pissing on it.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead crying and hugging each other as they watch the World Trade Center on fire on TV and that kind of shit. Um, or Calvin, one of my favorite Calvin and Hobbes. Most people who are super fans would be like, "Oh, this is so horrifying." But the Calvin and Hobbes where Calvin's like, "I think the pills are working," and then Hobbes turns back into a stuffed animal.
That one is really disturbing. I have to admit, which I have to love. In fact,
Yes.
it would almost make me think Bill Watterson would either absolutely love that too, or he'd be horribly offended and pissed off.
I would love to see his reaction. I know how he feels about the Calvin pissing logo because he was very much against not only merchandising but the bootleg merchandising that a lot of people did. But I have a feeling he might kind of like that just as a joke. But then again, he might be just fucking fuming.
There was also a follow-up to that one where he's just like, where Hobbes suddenly is a tiger again. He's like, "Snap out of it, buddy," and then they hug.
Yeah, which means that Calvin reduced back into the delusion that he used the just like he used the tiger blood, literally tiger blood, just like Charlie Sheen. He had a disease, he cured it with his mind, and the disease was the pills, of course. He cured the pills with his mind, using his mental focus to undo the damage that the pills were doing, the Ritalin was doing to make him see reality, if you will.
And now he's better off. Better.
Now he's all better. And speaking of all better, again, thanks for watching. Support us, give us money for no reason, just for no reason. Hey, I'm not going to soft shoe this shit. Just give us money for no reason. Buy our comics. Go to fucking iconiccomics.com and buy Walmart Gold Standard, or go to the King Wolf card page and buy literally, by the way, very blatantly, as Tim Lim even noticed, very blatantly inspired by Calvin and Hobbes. So if you like Calvin and Hobbes, I think you'll like literally. Number 1 and number 2 are out. Number 3 coming out soon. Ideally next year, inshallah.
Or maybe you won't like it.
But who cares? You know, I don't give a shit.
If you're a fan of fucking Calvin and Hobbes,
you better like it, motherfucker.
I don't know. You're not a real fan of Calvin and Hobbes if you don't like literally.
You know what? That is a very good point. I agree with you. I think you make a good point there.
You know what? You have a good point that I made a good point.
Oh, you know what? Yes. Anyways, okay, so yeah, subscribe, unsubscribe, whatever, and should have listened to shitty webcomics.